The king himself, Stephen, has previously claimed that in his opinion, this is his most terrifying book he has ever written. It's so scary that even King himself struggled to finish writing it. Well, sign me the hell up! These supernatural forces are playing on human curiosity, and as they say, curiosity killed the cat. Which is also funny because there is a cat on the front cover of this book, which is also funny because there is a graveyard. It's a lot of funny things in this book, right? Hello everyone, I am Rue and welcome back to my channel, Rue with the Books. If you're new here, hello. I hope everyone is having a lovely day today, an absolutely smashing day, and enjoying the start of the autumn season. In this video, I shall be pulling the mask away and unveiling my spooky season TBR. Last year, I made a small attempt at it and read a couple of horror books for October, namely The Shining by Stephen King on one end and Dracula by Bram Stoker on the other. Big thumbs up for The Shining, really liked it, but big thumbs down for Dracula. So yeah, very polarizing spooky season, but I picked up a lot more this year, so hopefully with such a selection, there's going to be more ups than downs rather than it being 50-50 like it was last year. I've been reading a little bit of Stephen King this year in preparation for a Dark Tower read at some point. But I haven't read as much horror as I would like to read, just in general, apart from Stephen King, because variety is good and there's other authors out there. So this spooky season, it is a good opportunity to add a little bit more volume and a little bit more variety as well. So this video will cover the 5 fantastic sounding horror books that I will sink my fangs into. I have 3 that actually sound pretty scary and 2 more fun, cheesy ones to kind of switch it up a bit and keep it nice and light for after tackling the more heavy ones or in between. And at the end of this video, I will be doing a digital wheel spin to help pick out the first book that I plan to read for this spooky season. So stay tuned for that. So this is a story that I've been wanting to read for a good while now. I haven't seen the movie, so this book will be completely fresh for me. The concept sounds really terrifying because it's incredibly realistic. It steers away from the more supernatural horrors that, are popular and is a lot more psychological in nature. I am really fascinated by and I'm wanting to read more psychological horrors because I think they're a lot more freaky and just realistic than supernatural. And I say this because animals, they live by what is necessary for them to continue surviving. And that's dictated by evolution and natural selection, things like that. But humans are unpredictable, and delving into the psyches of strange, eclectic people is thrilling because you can never know what to expect from someone. So, if you know any good psychological horrors, please chuck them down in the comments. I will keep an eye because I would love to read some more good psychological horrors. So, published way back when in 1987, Misery by Stephen King is an iconic work that has seen critical acclaim. It's a story with a truly terrifying premise that is only the worst nightmares of practically anyone. Being held hostage with threats of violence, bodily harm, torture if you don't satisfy the whims of your captor. There's little worse than knowing bad, painful things are going to happen, but not knowing when or how bad they are going to be. So, this book focuses on Paul Sheldon, who is a best-selling novelist. After some automobile accident, he finds himself under the care of Annie Wilkes, a superfan of his, who should be looking after him and nursing him back to health. Instead of doing this, she keeps him hostage in her home and gets him to write a story just for her. She wants it to be his greatest work ever. Well, that is an incredibly high pedestal because an author tries to make every work of theirs their best work. It's not a career that you can choose and really half-ass. This sounds fantastic because Paul will have to learn about Annie and her psychology to write a story that would satisfy her, because enjoyment of books is subjective. A book I love could be a book that you hate, because we have different things that we like and different things that we get annoyed about. So, Paul is going to have to learn about Annie almost intimately to find out what she likes, what goes on in her mind and brain, what her psychology is like, to be able to write and tailor a book to be one that she will absolutely love and be her favorite ever. This sounds like it should be an incredibly thrilling story, and I'm very, very interested in finding out what ghastly horrors Annie Wilkes is ready to commit upon this very unlucky and terrified author. The king himself, Stephen, has previously claimed that in his opinion, this is his most terrifying book he has ever written. It's so scary that even King himself struggled to finish writing it. Well, sign me the hell up! So, if you haven't read this book, you might ask, what is it about and why should I be scared? A family moves into an idyllic rural town called Ludlow. Despite the picturesque and tranquil setting, there are little hints here and there, like a little cookie crumb trail, that there are powerful forces at work and danger could be right around the corner. Large trucks drive too quickly. There is a graveyard nearby in the local woods. One of our main characters gets warnings in his dreams that he should not walk past the boundary of this graveyard in the woods. 4. A terrifying truth is hidden there, one more terrifying than death itself. Well, doesn't that sound nice? These supernatural forces are playing on human curiosity, and as they say, curiosity killed the cat. Which is also funny because there is a cat on the front cover of this book, which is also funny because there is a graveyard. It's a lot of funny things in this book, right? Well, this is a supernatural horror not for the faint of heart. It combines several spooky elements, such as moving to a new place and being unsure about everything. Fear of the unknown is a very real thing. That's why people get very anxious about new experiences. There are powerful forces at work that are unbeknownst to our main characters. Supernatural elements, if done right, are really thrilling and scary. I'm very ready to get my spook on and follow this chilling narrative and unveil these secrets and mysteries lurking by this graveyard in the woods. I have heard that this book is a strong do not read when you have children, because it's going to haunt you practically forever. See what I did there? I am currently child free, so it's a most opportune time to dive into it. When I do have children, it will be quite terrifying to think about. So that is the end of the Stephen King section, and so yeah, Stephen King done, dusted, and out of the way. This is the final book in the scary horror section that I have lined up. After this book, we have some good, cheesy fun lined up. The Goodreads blurb for this book is phenomenal, so I don't want to ruin how great the wording is and how enticing it sounds by paraphrasing, so let me go ahead and read it to you. A small-time criminal, a has-been rock star, a shadowy government agency, and a severed hand whose dark powers threaten to destroy them all. When leg breaker Hutch Holt rolls up to a rundown apartment complex in Portland, Oregon to collect overdue drug money, a severed hand is the last thing he expects to find stashed in the client's refrigerator. Hutch quickly realizes that the hand induces uncontrollable madness. Anyone in its proximity is overcome with a boundless compulsion for violence. Within hours, catastrophic forces are set into motion. Dark op government agents who have been desperately hunting for the hand are on Hutch's tail. More of the city's residents fall under its brutal influence, and suddenly all of Portland stands at the precipice of disaster. But it's all the same for Catherine Moriarty, a singer whose sudden fame and precipitous downfall were followed by the mysterious death of her estranged husband. Suicide, allegedly. Her trauma has made her agoraphobic, shackled within her confines of her apartment. Her son, Nick, has moved home to care for her, quietly making his living working for Hutch's boss. When Hutch calls Nick in distress, looking for someone else to take the hand, Catherine and Nick are plunged into a global struggle that will decimate the walls of the carefully arranged life they have built. Mother and son must evade both crazed, bloodthirsty masses and deceitful government agents while exercising family secrets that have risen from the dead. Secrets they will soon discover that might hold the very key to humanity's survival. That sounds like an absolute riot, am I right? I've read the Gwendy series by Stephen King and Richard Osmar, and it sounds like this draws heavy inspiration from it, in the sense that the front and center of the story is some powerful, world-shattering relic that puts its owner in immense danger due to the powerful covert forces seeking it out. Horror books are typically very localized, or low stakes in the sense that a horror is unleashed on a small group of people in a set location. So, for example, like a haunted house involves people going to the haunted house, they get trapped there, and then, something bad happens. Or a slasher film where a slasher goes loose in some small town in some rural place. So that's what I mean by that. And then they are forced to tackle whatever issue is causing them great stress. There are some subgenres where this is not the case, such as zombies, because an outbreak tends to very rapidly spread and begin to affect the whole world. So one of the aspects that draws me to this book is that it seems quite high stakes. It's said that there's secrets that are the key to humanity's survival. So it sounds a bit more thrilling because, if this thing isn't contained, if the riddle or puzzle isn't solved, all of humanity is in danger. And this relic sounds almost like it could cause like a zombie outbreak because people just, all of a sudden go like crazy and violent and everything. Then, focusing in on the object of the horror, the source of the terror in this book, the severed hand, a relic that practically turns anyone into its proximity into a berserker. It sounds very terrifying and also very kind of mysterious. Like, I'm thinking, why? Like, who's the progenitor of the severed hand? Whose hand is it? Why was it in the fridge? All those sorts of questions. It sounds like the great source of a mystery that leads into a horror. And I'm very drawn into this kind of like cat and mouse game that is set to happen between whoever has control of the hand and the covert like government dark ops agents that are coming after it. I was drawn to the cover of this book a really long time ago at this point, as a big rock and roll fan, because the devil's horns on the front cover. So I found this book when no one really knew about it. I found it like around early 2024, because I think it only came out in 2023. And I'm really, really happy that it's done quite well and that the good reviews and reputation it's built up since its publication have drawn me in further. Obviously, if you find a book and you like the cover and you don't know if it's any good, hearing other people say that I've read this book, it's fantastic, you should read it. Now, naturally, I'm very intrigued and I want to read the book and find out if I like it and get lost in the story. Yeah, so finally, Spooky Season 2025. I'm getting it off the TBR. I'm very excited to get into this one. First up for my cheesy horrors is Bury Your Gaze by Chuck Tingle. The main character in this book, Misha, is a scriptwriter who has seen a lot of success in Hollywood. Misha has even been nominated for his first ever Oscar. Things are looking really, really good for him. He's on the up. However, when directors and producers tell Misha to kill off a gay character in the finale of his upcoming movie or TV show or whatever, for the algorithm, he says, "No way in hell am I doing that. I'm not letting the algorithm destroy my artistic integrity." And yeah, so he rejects that, even though it's against his best interests and for succeeding, or so supposedly succeeding. Um, so yeah, big up Misha for having morals and ethics, sticking true to his artistic integrity in the face of algorithmic success. I think that's a very interesting meta narrative because over the last few years, those kinds of decisions and choices that are having to be made, and it's the kind of thing that studio executives are actually likely to do to see their projects have more success and to make more money. And I'm sure it's even going to go from the algorithm, it's going to work better in the algorithm, all the way to, well, the AI said it's going to be better if we do this. So with the shifting tides and the landscape of media and corporations today, it is a very, very interesting concept. From what I have heard, the main thing that kicks off what makes this story interesting is that the monsters or various creatures that Misha comes up with from their imagination and writes into the scripts, they start coming to life. And that is a nightmare scenario, right? So, what is absolutely terrible here is the big, scary, terrible thing that he has written. He is now the star of, and he's essentially subjected to his own terrors. It sounds very cheesy, it sounds very fun, and it also brings something new, creative, and original. The premise doesn't do anything as defining as reinventing the wheel, but I love seeing a more modern take on a horror story, as the same ideas have been recycled in the genre for a really long time now. I'm loving seeing Chuck Tingle's success in writing more serious works of fiction after how he started his career. If you don't know, he's written hot books such as Trans Wizard Harriet Porber and the Bad Boy Parasolithus, and also Bigfoot Pirates Haunt My Balls. Someone write a comment down below if you've read either of these two works. I'm genuinely curious. If I enjoy this book, I will be keeping an eye on Mr. Tingle because it seems that he has a lot of new creative ideas to bring to the genre, and I really respect that. I really wanted to read this book because just like Bury Your Gaze, it sounds, first of all, modern, then refreshing and creative. This is more of like a science fiction take on horror, a bit like the Dead Space games, but going even further, in which the horrors themselves are going to be set on a spaceship. This book is about Demeter, a spaceship that shuffles humans from Earth to Alpha Centauri, who swears revenge on Dracula for killing off passengers in herself. Demeter has to join forces with an unlikely band to stop herself from getting decommissioned. That is, a werewolf, a Frankensteinian engineer, a vampire with a grudge, and a fleet of cheerful spider drones. Having liked The Devils by Joe Abercrombie, where we have a group of unlikely companions, I think that if done right, this could be really, really good. The messages of this book are like what it means and feels like to be an outsider, and explores the many types of friendships that make us human. The premise of this book jumped out so much to me when I read the blurb. It mixes together modern topics such as AI, space travel, and living outside of human norms with the classic horror, and by that I mean Dracula. It also sounds like it could be fun, wholesome, and cheesy. I want all of those things to counteract the more serious and heavy horrors that I have in this TBR video. I have not read any reviews on this book or even seen the Goodreads rating, so I have literally no idea what to expect. It could be one of the best things I've ever read, it could be one of the worst things I've ever read and be a complete flop. If you follow my horror spooky season journey next month, then I guess you will get to find out. The main thing that I want from this book, and I really hope it brings it to the table and does it well, is just to have a good bit of fun horror. You know, cozy horror, fun horror. It's a bit of an oxymoron, but it's not a new thing. People love it and lap it up. It's why slashers are so popular. You know what's going to happen, and you just got to strap in for the ride and see how it happens. So, yeah, hopefully this is a banger because it just sounds quirky and different and fun, and I want it to be good. Okay, so as I said at the start of this video, I'm going to be doing a wheel spin to decide what the first spooky season book I am going to read is. And so yeah, the choices are Fever House, Bury Your Gaze, Of Monsters and Mainframes, Misery, and Pet Sematary. So enough yapping, let's spin that wheel. Ooh. Ooh. And it's Pet Sematary. Yes. Okay, that's awesome. I mean, I would have literally been happy with any of the ones on this list, but I think starting with the heavier ones, so I could do like heavy, light, heavy, or something along those lines is good. So I'm happy that I'm starting with one of the more like serious ones. So yeah, Pet Sematary by Stephen King. That's sick. I am very excited to find out what happens in this book. Thank you for clicking on this video and giving it a watch. If you have made it this far, then I hope that Annie Wilkes does not kidnap you. So that was my spooky season TBR. Are there any on this list that you have read, or are there any on this list that you're interested in reading because I talked about it? Let me know. I would also be thankful if you pressed the like button to help me with the algorithm. Unlike Misha, I'm doing what I gotta do for the algorithm. So click that button, please. Also, if you liked the video, be sure to press that subscribe button. I upload 1 to 3 times a week, depending on what video ideas I have and how much time I actually have. I want to make a cozy book community to talk about books with. Anyway, until next time, Rue out.